Let's get it going.
Here.
Saturday. 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 Yeah. Revved up here in Long Beach, California. Coming to you live with my wife, Anna, behind the camera. And she'll be in front of the camera as well. We got
up here.
the upcoming HIRAX tour to talk about. We're going to talk about toys, records, all kinds of stuff. Whatever you want to talk about, just chime in whenever you'd like to, and also chime in from wherever you're from. We'd like to know. So say hello from whatever city or country you're checking in from, and welcome to the show. This is Katon from HIRAX with my wife, Anna.
Hi.
And it is Saturday here in warm, sunny Southern California. Next weekend we start the HIRAX tour in San Diego, California. We're looking forward to seeing all the thrash metal maniacs down there in SD. What was that?
Homies, our friends.
So everybody, greetings, and we got coffee. So if you, whatever you drink, depending on what time zone you're in, or whatever you feel like drinking this morning or smoking, go ahead and get that stuff going. Let's party!
Woo! All right, they're already coming in from all over the world. Here's Audra from El Salvador, and here's Leo from Illinois.
Salud!
Chuck from Pittsburgh.
What's up, Chuck?
And we got Rex from Guadalajara, Mexico.
Rex,
which
what's
reminds
happening?
me that is. I'm representing. Got my glasses from Mexico.
Speaking of Mexico,
love you guys, and looking forward to seeing everyone out in the tour really soon. So
yeah.
I can't wait. It's gonna be fun. But I'm gonna go check all your comments over there so Katon can keep up.
keep them coming in, and yes, we're coming out on tour next Saturday. We start down in San Diego. The next night's Ventura Theater. There's quite a few concerts we're doing across the United States and up into Canada. A couple of Canadian dates. We're looking forward to finally playing Canada for the first time. And I want to say thank you to all the people that have been writing to us and keeping in contact from Canada for over the last 40 years. It's about time we play there. And seriously, we've had a lot of support from Canada over the years, over the decades, and I can't thank you enough. I have a lot of respect for Canada anyway. Some of my favorite bands are from there. Some of my favorite people are from Canada. So we are looking forward to coming to Canada.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be amazing. I know, finally. And also, just chiming in here is more Honduras, Seattle, France.
Honduras, Seattle, France.
Minnesota, Baton Rouge.
Minnesota, Baton Rouge.
Try the Cajun food there.
We'll see you in Baton Rouge also. That's one of the dates on the tour that I am really excited about. I should just say I'm excited about the whole damn tour.
Wait, I forgot Vegas and Florida and Chile. I'm sorry. I guess
Chile, Vegas, Florida.
Austria.
Austria.
Wow. Cool. Some people, just asking about the merch. We got that ready to go as well, but it's
we're gonna be bringing a whole line of HIRAX merch with us on this tour.
Yeah, thanks guys for the
Some
support.
of these places are the first time we've ever played there, so we understand the demand for the merch, and we really are honored and humbled by everybody wanting to get some stuff. And we are not doing any paid meet and greets, none of that stuff. We're just going to come out like a normal band and hang out. So after we play every night that we play these shows, we're coming out. We've had people sending us messages about meet and greets and VIP stuff. And to me, everybody's a VIP. So we're just going to come out after we play and greet everybody and say hello. If you want stuff signed, that's not a problem. It's just a humbling experience for us, and that's just the way we look at it. We're not trying to judge anybody on those types of things, but for us, we just come out anyways, so we don't try to hide. I will say before the shows, we kind of try to hide because we know that our fans are some of the most hardcore partiers in the world, and we want to be able to give a good concert, so we don't party before the show. Afterwards is a whole nother story. But yeah, so like I said, we'll be coming out after every show. Easiest place to find us will probably be at the merch booth. That way we can also sign stuff for you if need be. But thank you guys for all the humbling messages, and it's really appreciated. Thank you so much. We've got a lot to talk about. Also, obviously, this has been a little while ago, but we want to pay our respects to Ozzy. Not trying to jump on a bandwagon, but for me and a lot of other people on this planet, he was uh, like a mentor. Like an uncle, like a grandfather, whatever you want to say. He's just a big part of our lives. I grew up on Sabbath, like most of you. Luckily, I got to see them in 1978 at Anaheim Stadium in Orange County, Southern California, and that was a life-changing experience. And luckily, I got to see him a little bit later when he left Sabbath and he started his solo career, and I got to see him with Randy Rhoads, and that was phenomenal. So, yeah, he's a big part of my life. My wife told me to pull out some records and kind of tell some stories real quick. So, some of them are deeper than others. Some of them are not. The first Ozzy record, obviously, this record was a game changer. So was the second. I mean, everybody likes a lot of his solo work, but obviously for me, the first two albums are mandatory. They're blueprints. Also featured a Southern California guitarist by the name of Mr. Randy Rhoads, and before he even joined that band here in Southern California, he was a legend. Riot. A lot of people don't know that, but the first two real Quiet Riot albums, they're Japanese releases, so if you can find them, look out there and get them. Some of you guys probably have them because you're that diehard, but the first two Quiet Riot records feature Randy Rhoads. I had them a long time ago. I don't have them anymore, but if I were to be looking for them, those would be two records I'd be looking for. They're not cheap to find, especially if you find them in mint condition. But so like I said, Randy Rhoads was a legend down here before he joined Ozzy, and then when he got in the band, for us it was like a celebration because we knew that he had finally made it. So yeah, the first two Ozzy records are really important to me. Here's the second one. I bought all these records when they came out because they were awesome, and I knew they were going to be awesome, and they didn't disappoint. And for me, those records were so important. I mean, there's some singles. This single was I bought this when it came out too. It's an import. Blizzard of Oz, Mr. Crowley. In fact, we didn't call it Ozzy Osbourne Band back in the day. We call it the Blizzard of Oz, or the Blizzard. And I love this band. A few different lineups. Everybody's technical on that. But and this is another version of the single. So yeah, these mean a lot to me. I got them back in the day. To still have them in my collection's awesome. This is something when HIRAX, where I'm really lucky with HIRAX. We get to tour quite a bit, and so when we have downtime, we go record shopping, or I should say I do, because I'm a freak like that. So this is something I picked up in Mexico. Spanish version of it's like a best of greatest hits Ozzy stuff. I highly suggest it if you can find this record. Like I said, I was down on tour in Mexico and I found this and I snatched it up. So, in fact, my wife Anna she was like, "Man, you have to get that," when she saw it. So, brought this home, and this is in our collection. It's called Black Gold Collection, Ozzy Osbourne. If you can find it, grab it. This thing's one of my favorite records in my collection. That's saying a lot because I have a lot of good records.
Some of the fans say they tear up now listening to Ozzy and Black Sabbath.
Yeah, it's hard not to. I mean, everybody had their moments from that final show, but for me, it was "Mama, I'm Coming Home." That moment of him singing that was heavy.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, so rest in peace, Ozzy. Never thought the day would come because you always thought he was going to be around, much like Lemmy. Lemmy was another guy where you just going to be around no matter what because you thought these guys were bulletproof, but it just goes to let you know that we're all mortal, and while you're on this planet, do the best you can, be a good person, and just try to live a good life. Here's another good one. This is Speak of the Devil, but with the alternate title, Talk of the Devil. This is another one that's one of my favorites in the collection that I have. But Talk of the Devil, everybody knows it mainly as Speak of the Devil, but this is the other version of it. And this record surprised me because I was so sad when Randy Rhoads died that when this came out, I was skeptical, but Brad Willis's performance on this record is spot on, especially for a guy who basically just came in and learned the songs real quick. and he killed it. So Brad Gillis, hell of a job. Great live record, powerful. Tommy Aldridge, everybody on this thing is crushing. Tommy Aldridge is one of my all-time favorite drummers too, by the way. A couple of Sabbath records. These are compilations. Everybody goes, they pull out their, the first record, and they get deep cuts and all that. But I'm gonna do some compilations. You're awesome, Honor. All right, so this one is a very known comp. A lot of people have this, but it's great. If I was turning anybody on to Sabbath for the first time that they had never heard of them, I would highly suggest this compilation, because this record's a double record set, and it's the ultimate. If you guys who have this know how great this record is, but if you don't have it, I highly suggest it, especially if you want to check out some classic Ozzy with Sabbath. One more. This is an Australian, I believe, because after I did more research on this is an Australian compilation, Black Sabbath compilation. You don't see this around that often, but if you do, pick it up. Hell of a record. For all you guys checking in right now, if you don't have this Sabbath comp, pick it up. It's a single record, but it's awesome. Paranoid, NIB, Iron Man, Supernaut, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, Changes, Sabacadabra, Children of the Grave, Tomorrow's Dream, Wicked World, Sweet Leaf, and Snowblind. So anyway, and speaking of Pat Travers and San Diego, this one goes out to San Diego. Back, I don't know, it's probably 80, 81 or something like that, I saw this show. This is a flyer from a show that I saw in San Diego. It was an amazing show, and the opening band surprisingly crushed everybody. It was the Pat Travers Band with Tommy Aldridge on drums, Mars Clowan, Pat Thrall, and Pat Travers. One of my all-time favorite concerts and one of my all-time favorite bands. A lot of people don't know about the Pat Travers Band, but if you haven't heard of them, I highly suggest a live album called Go For What You Know. If you can find that record, put it on, it'll blow your mind. This bill also featured Cheap Trick, Blue Oyster Cult, and UFO, and Pat Travers still stole the show. All right, so I want to take some questions. If you got questions, throw them at me.
Well, go ahead and I'll just catch up real quick. Someone wanted to know if you're coming to Abigail, if you're Jacksonville, Florida. We do have 2 Florida dates. But
there's 2 Florida dates.
Tampa and Fort Lauderdale.
Tampa and Fort Lauderdale that HIRAX is doing with our brothers in Dark Angel and Sacred Right. It's going to be a great tour. It's like the perfect bill as far as I'm concerned. If you want to see 3 classic thrash metal bands from the 80s, there you go. Also, the Tampa show is my 62nd birthday.
Woo! Birthday!
So I'm looking forward to that. It's playing on my birthday. Still doing this after 40 years is pretty awesome, and I'm so grateful. So yeah, Tampa, 62nd birthday, September 16th. I'll see you there.
St. Lucia County, Florida. Ozzy played here in 1981. Unfortunately, before I started going to see live shows. Okay.
That was probably the year I saw Ozzy, and it was great.
1981.
Randy Rhoads was on fire.
Oh, and dude, I mean, there's also Peru, Norwalk, Colombia.
What's up, Norwalk? That's not too far from here.
Yeah.
Peru, what's happening? Peru.
Otis from Colombia, so sweet, is just saying that you guys are a great band. It was great, especially after the pandemic, that the global pandemic, and success to Diablo Negro.
Thank you from the heart. Hey, some of you guys know this, but some people that are tuning in, this might be the first time you've checked out this live stream. But we started them in the beginning of the pandemic. I think it's 2020. We started doing these. And it was also just because we were on lockdown and it was a heavy time. I mean, it's still a heavy time.
Connect with each other.
But we connected with a lot of cool people from all over the world. And I just want to say, that was awesome, and it's still awesome. That if anything good came out of it is these live streams. When I travel with HIRAX, quite a few people still come up to me and say, hey, I watched the live streams and I want to thank you. But I also say thank you for watching also, because it was like therapy on both sides. We got to talk to each other. That's one of the things I like about this whole internet shit and this live streaming, is that, can actually communicate. So, like I said, I don't mind taking questions. I'm going to be on here for about an hour. We're already almost 20 minutes into
Yeah, we
this.
better get going.
So, yeah, I'm here for a little bit, and I think we save these when we're done so people can watch them later.
Yeah.
But thank you to everybody that's tuning in now from all over the world. Thank you so much.
Someone say, "Can I get a HIRAX banner?" They said.
Yeah, on the tour, the banners will be there. We're gonna have, pretty much everything that we sell on our merchandise page, that's another thing. People always want to know where to get the merchandise. Check it out at HIRAX Big Cartel or HIRAX Bandcamp. Between HIRAX Bandcamp and HIRAX Big Cartel, if you punch them up on any search engine, they should come up, and that's where you can buy official merchandise. So, whether it's patches, hats, banners like the HIRAX banner behind me, all that stuff's available, and we will have it on the tour. It's going to be pretty interesting traveling across the United States, trying to spread unity and bring everybody together under the banner of thrash metal. So we look forward to it.
Okay, I didn't know if you wanted to do your other banners or someone said, "Hey, Katon, which Sabbath song do you think HIRAX would hit out of the park?" Mike Birch.
Wow, that's a good question. I mean, obviously they never really. I mean, they had some up-tempo songs. They didn't have a ton of fast songs. I don't know. There's a lot. I mean, people always want you to do deep cuts, but one of my favorites, and it's not that tricky of a song, but I still love Sweet Leaf. Every time I hear Sweet Leaf, I still rock out to that one. Man, but believe it or not, before I was doing just originals, we did the song "Never Say Die." Now I see a lot of people doing it, but that song's it's a very different Sabbath song, and Ozzy is such a character. His voice, nobody sings like him. People can try, but there's only one Ozzy. So when you listen to a song like "Never Say Die," Ozzy's got his stamp all over that song, and it's kind of like Paranoid, where it's not the trickiest song on the planet, but Ozzy's voice makes the difference. I still love Paranoid, and that's a very simple song. I think that it's kind of cool to pick out, the songs that, are very obvious, but a lot of people still don't mention them. So, but yeah, I think maybe Sweet Leaf or even Never Say Die if we were to do it. But the thing that I've always prided myself with HIRAX is, believe it or not, we've never done a cover song.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that. Like, I have other bands that I can do stuff like that with, but I really want to keep HIRAX to doing all originals. It's just kind of like my main goal with HIRAX. So thanks for asking that question about Sabbath. And Sabbath is one of my all-time favorite bands.
Maddie Brothers. Hey guys.
Maddie Brothers, we love you guys. You guys are the best.
There's a lot of friends.
If you haven't checked out a magazine called Maddie Magazine, I highly suggest Maddie Magazine. Beautiful magazine, quality like magazines are supposed to be. These guys have the highest quality. So if you get a chance, check out Maddie Magazine.
So it's Labor Day weekend. Wondering how the weather's going. If you guys are having barbecues or what. You also wanted to show off some of your toys and t-shirts or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I should have pulled some shirts. I didn't, but I'm gonna go to something that I got about a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to talk like this, but my brother-in-laws, I have 3 brother-in-laws. My wife's brothers are awesome. All 3 of them are really cool. But recently, my youngest brother-in-law, Thomas, who I love dearly, I love them all. It's a family, families are complicated, but once you get your groove on and you get to know each other, they get better. And over the years, my love and respect for my wife's family has only grown, and that even goes to her family over in Norway, because I've been to Norway a couple of times and I love it over there. My wife's family's awesome. But to make a long story short, this Bon Scott action figure, whatever you want to call it, everybody sings different names, But this Bon Scott was given to me by my brother-in-law Thomas about a week ago. Was it a week ago?
Yes, for your birthday, but you won't be gone.
Yeah, this was for my birthday, but I'm not going to be in town for that. So my brother-in-law gave me this. I'm a huge Bon Scott fan. We talked about Ozzy. Bon Scott's right in there, too, for me, because he's one of my all-time favorite singers, along with Phil Lynott from Thin Lizzy. So things like, but this even means more to me because my brother-in-law gave this to me. He actually heard me talking about this. We went shopping one time and I saw one, but I'm such a nerd collector that the one that I saw was a little beat up. It wasn't mint, as all you nerds out there know what I'm talking about. So I passed on it, but my brother-in-law was with me, so he heard me talking about it at one of the family get-togethers, and like a week later, he showed up with this and gave it to me as a gift, and it means a lot to me. So to my brother-in-law Thomas, I love you and thank you for such a special gift. And it would mean a lot to me as it already is because I love Bon Scott, but this means even more to me since my brother-in-law gave it to me. So cheers, Thomas. Thank you.
Yeah, very thoughtful.
So awesome. Yeah.
Add it to the.
So yeah, that was a little
there.
heavy. So you okay? So I do. A lot of you guys know that I collect T-shirts. I've been collecting them since I was in high school, but over the last probably 5-10 years, my love for collecting shirts has got more intense. And me and my wife go to a lot of different places, when we have time, and we love thrift stores. So recently, my wife found a Never Say Die T-shirt, which was awesome. I posted a picture of that.
Yeah.
But that same day, and when I was growing up, and still to this day, my favorite rock and roll band of all time is the Rolling Stones. So as we were looking through this thrift store, I came across this shirt. My wife went and just grabbed it for me real quick. But this is one of my all-time favorite guitar players. So yeah, found this shirt at the thrift store, and I had to have it. Keith Richards is one of my heroes, and same with pretty much all the Rolling Stones. So, yeah, I mean, what I highly suggest if you're into collecting T-shirts, stuff like of that, even for me, records. A lot of my record collection came from thrift stores, swap meets, secondhand shops, because that's what I like. I mean, I get it. If you're into record collecting and you just buy whatever, that's fine. Everybody's got their vice. But I still always will suggest thrift stores, swap meets, things like that. Because for one, you're going to save some money, and I don't think any of you guys like pissing away money. But it's just smart. And if you don't mind digging and looking through things, it's fun. So yeah, like I said, a lot of my stuff comes from those places, and I'm damn proud of it. I suggest Goodwill, Salvation Army, any of that kind of stuff. And I also love like dollar stores and stuff like that. So, Dollar Tree. I'm still sad about the 99-cent store closing down. That fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I hear, because the other night I was hanging out with my bandmates, and there are still some big lots left. So I'm going to go pretty soon when I get a chance, check out some of these big lots that are still left. A lot of them closed down around where I live. So, but any of that kind of stuff I love, Not too far from where I live, there's a place called the 98-cent store, which has rad shit. So, just things like that. But, yeah, I'm going to take some more questions. I have some records I still want to pull. And, it's kind of funny because every once in a while, somebody will go and then it reminds you to pull out records. Another guy that passed not too long ago was John Sykes, guitar player. He played with Whitesnake. That's probably what he's most famous for, but he was also in Tigers of Pantang. He had a solo career with Blue Murder. Blue Murder was another great band that he was in. But I'm a huge Tigers fan, so obviously this record, if you don't have it and you're into like 80s metal, heavy metal, this Tigers of Pantang record is mandatory. I was so into this band that if I could find singles, here's a single from the record. So look for Tigers of Pantang, and rest in peace, John Sykes. He passed away not too long ago. Here's another Tigers record. But yeah, I go crazy for this band. So I'm also trying to pay it forward. I think it's always good to turn people on to music. Maybe it's something they haven't heard of, or if it is, maybe they haven't listened to the record. So like I said, go ahead.
Oh, really? Joe Bradish has over 100 Metallica shirts.
That's
do you
awesome.
put those? Oh
That
my
is
God.
awesome. Yeah, I mean, I get it. When you're into a band, and you're dedicated, just do it. It's even cool. Some people don't like, or a lot of people don't like. I really still respect people when they like a band and they don't give a shit what anybody else thinks. So that's pretty impressive.
Alan's giving the eyes.
Yeah. Is that
Jose's
Alan?
here too. Yeah.
Alan, Jose, my
Hi.
bandmates from
Yeah.
HIRAX, hello. That's the way I feel about, like, Alan. Alan is a diehard Metallica fan. Like, it
This
blows
guy
me
collects
away.
soccer shirts. Another guy collects soccer shirts, and then Javier Lopez wants to make a free-handed HIRAX shirt. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that kind of stuff. When people customize and make T-shirts, we see HIRAX stuff when we travel all over the world, and it's bitching to see that. So when people make their own, like these pins just came in, we just got here.
Yeah, those are awesome.
I don't know if you can see them. Let me see if I can get that.
Zoom it in here.
We're actually on 3 different sites right now. We're on.
There's the red and white.
We're on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram right now. So if you're checking in, it's all these
so
are
cool.
These are some
Double
HIRAX
backs.
pins that just showed up from Bogota, Colombia. But real quick, back to Alan.
Yeah.
Alan is one of the gnarliest Metallica fans I've ever seen. It's scary. He loves that band, but I do get it because I still am the same way about certain bands. I'm that way about AC/DC. Anything with Bon Scott, I go apeshit for. Same with Thin Lizzy. Phil Lynot's one of my heroes, so I really do understand when I see other people loving the bands I love. So, Alan, much respect to you. You are a Metallica freak, and you're not ashamed at all, and you shouldn't be. So, much power to you, buddy.
Kevin Schulten is wearing his Tigers of Pantang shirt right
Kevin
now.
Schulten knows what's up. That's
Very
awesome.
Good. All right.
Nice.
And again, just lots of people are asking, a lot of people here from Spain, and they're asking if you're coming to Europe, which you actually are.
Hello, Spain. What's
Czech
really cool?
Republic coming up.
What's awesome? Recently, we've had a few more agents, contact us about shows and festivals. So there's gonna be a lot coming. Some of it I can't announce right now, but Spain, to everybody in Spain, we'll be back in Europe. Well, to everybody that's watching right now from Europe, HIRAX is coming back in 2026. That's not that far away. We're going to finish up the year strong here in the United States. We do have one show this year in the Czech Republic. We'll be flying over to the Thrash Fest in the Czech Republic. That's right around the same time we're doing this U.S. tour. In fact, we're leaving the U.S. tour for a few days to fly to the Czech Republic, play the festival in the Czech Republic, and then fly back and rejoin the U.S. tour, which ends. The last 2 shows are in San Francisco at the UC Theater, and the final shows in Los Angeles at the Belasco.
Belasco, yeah.
The Belasco, however the fuck you say it, but the Belasco in Los Angeles, that'll be the final show. But we are coming back to Europe. I can't say right now exactly what festivals we're playing, but we are coming back to Germany, and we're coming back to Sweden. Those I can tell you, and there's more dates coming. So, yeah, HIRAX is going to be very busy, and I'm very proud of that, very happy. I mean, the new record has still only been out probably 6 or 7 months, something like that, Faster Than Death. And I want to say thank you to everybody that's been buying the record or who has already bought the record and picked it up. Thanks to everybody in Japan. Thanks to everybody in Europe, the United States, Canada, worldwide, Southeast Asia. Thank you so much for supporting the new HIRAX record. All right, so I got some stuff.
I'm coming in.
Yeah.
We were talking about the Dollar Tree, and so this is some of Katon's. If you know Katon, he probably gave you one of these smoothie popsicles.
Well, I don't give these out too easy, but my band members all do have these, and they're called Sun-Kissed smoothie bars. All right, and I love these things, especially summertime. If you live in a hot city, these are at the Dollar Tree. They're really cheap. Check out the Sun-Kissed smoothie bars. It's funny. I feel like I'm doing an ad.
Hey,
I'm
he
not.
sells them in the store to people. Like,
I'm not getting paid for this, but I will be honest with you. When I'm at the Dollar Tree and I'm buying these things, I turn around to people that are walking by and I'm like, I try to turn them on to these things, and they're awesome.
Summertime.
I highly suggest summertime. I'm like a kid, so I love these kinds of things. So, and another thing, I love gum. I'm a big bubble gum person. I know that's funny, especially since I'm 60, gonna be 62. But I love gum. I've tried almost every gum on the planet, even in other countries, other cities, and this is probably my favorite gum. It's called Coastal Bay Confections Gumballs. These things are amazing. They sell them at the Dollar Tree. If you're ever in the Dollar Tree, look for these gumballs. Coastal Bay Confections. And dude, there's wrapped individually. They're amazing. You can save them. You know, they're wrapped individually. A lot of gumballs aren't. They're just thrown into a package. There you go.
I said, Katon, don't share that though. Now they'll be gone. You won't have any more.
I like paying it forward. So those are just some little goodies because you all deserve something awesome.
I wonder if we want to do the firelights or we're getting halfway.
We're a little bit more than halfway. Any of you guys that have watched these shows know that I have my ambulance fire engine lights. They're a tribute to Kiss and also Thin Lizzy. So I turn them on, but if you've ever seen Kiss, especially old footage of Thin Lizzy, you know they have these lights. I love these things. So here we go. We're halfway through the show. Popping them on. Getting the ambiance going here. There we go. Yeah! Now it's a party. So, oh yeah.
I got my popsicle. You want one?
Yeah, I want one. All right, here's these popsicles. These things rule.
Okay.
I'll take some questions though.
Oh,
bring it up.
How did you find the Rock and Park concert?
Raquel Parque.
Yeah.
I love South America. I can't say that enough. I fucking love South America. So, fortunately, we've been able to play all over South America. I think one of the only places we probably haven't played is there's some islands further over, and Uruguay. Uruguay, I think, is one of the only places we haven't played. So, Raquel Parque, Bogota, Colombia. For one, I love Bogota, Colombia. Anybody who's been to Colombia and has been to Bogota knows how great it is there. But we played one of the biggest festivals in South America, Raquel Parque. It was awesome. We will be back to South America just because also we love it so much, but there's more countries that tour through. But Bogota is always a great time. The people are amazing. The food's amazing. The hospitality is great. The festival was awesome. Everybody was so nice to us. The press conference after the show was awesome. A lot of great questions. It was perfect. I wish we could have stayed longer because we would have loved to have taken some time to go out and be tourists because, we like to go around the cities that we go to and check out things. We'll be back. Next time we'll probably have a little bit more time to hang out, but it was great. The festival was awesome. The only thing if I have any complaints, I'm not talking anything bad, but I do think they should move the stage closer to the fans. I wanted to address that because a lot of people think that we like to play that far away from the audience. That's totally not the truth. We like to be right up against them, right in their face. So that was a little tough for us, but we did the best that we could. We can't control how they set up these stages, but the stage was too far away from the audience. And we love to be right there with the people. So to the people of Colombia, we love you. We'll come back. Next time we'll be a lot closer. All right?
And some people are worried about Europe only being one show, but that's just a setup for next year.
Yeah, it's just a setup. We got more shows coming. Our agent's working on more dates. But we have 2 shows booked already for Germany and Sweden. There'll be some
Austria really wants you, though. We're going to work on that.
We'll come back to Austria. We always have a good time there. It's usually really hot.
Spain.
When we play in Spain, we love you guys, man. We got to get back there. The last tour, we didn't even get to stop into Spain, but Spain's always been good. We normally do 3 or 4 shows in Spain when we go through that area, so we'll be back. Promise.
Fun fact, Thomas Christie says 56 years ago today, Ozzy announced a new band name. So that's today, something special. And
Okay.
then Christopher Brown, he said he loved going to dollar stores and thrift stores and Goodwills. I found a Kiss and Makeup hoodie.
That's rad.
Winning.
Nice. Nice.
Finalist looking. Somebody wanted to know if you have Testament or Exodus or any Paul Bailoff stories.
Alright.
We do that. That one's a lot.
I'll do that real quick. Yeah.
Okay. Get that last part. That's the best part. We make popsicles too, though. We've been doing that, but it's inspired.
Man,
This is easy.
when it's mango, I go
Yeah.
crazy for mango. So you wanted a Paul Bailoff or Testament story, so I can, in one nutshell, I can tell you one story that involves all those guys. Our first show in San Francisco, I believe, was 1985 at Ruthie's Inn. We played a few different clubs. We played Mabuhay Gardens, Ruthie's Inn. We did some shows with Possessed. We did some shows with Death Angel. We did the first show though was with Legacy, which had Zetro. Zetro was in Legacy, which right after that became Testament. So it was the early beginnings of Testament, right before Zetro left to join Exodus. And on the same bill that night was HIRAX with Megadeth, which was awesome. We knew Dave from Metallica, so there was already a camaraderie there. Dave Mustaine's always been cool to HIRAX. You know, you're going to hear all kinds of stories about Dave, but I'll tell you this from me personally, the dude's awesome. I know that everybody says all this crazy shit, and probably a lot of it's true, but to me, Dave was always awesome. A straight shooter. You know, when you're a straight shooter, sometimes that can rub people the wrong way. But I like him. And he's born around the same time as me. I think Dave Mustaine's September 15th. I'm September 16th. So
Yeah.
we're Virgos. We're complicated. We're complicated. So as to that show, Megadeth, and then also was Exodus. And it was our first time meeting Exodus. Paul Bailoff was the singer. I love Paul Bailoff. I can't say enough good things about him. He's another guy that you'll hear all these different stories about, but he was a sweet, sweet man. Like, yeah, I know he's known for crazy and breaking up shit and breaking things and, you know, saying death to posers, which is awesome. But Paul was a sweet, sweet person, man. He was awesome. So, yeah, you're going to hear some stuff that you don't normally hear. All those guys were great. The shows were violent and all that stuff, but we were young. Think about it. We were in our 20s, early 20s. What do you want from a bunch of wound up kids listening to the fastest metal on the planet? Paul, I met him earlier in the day when we first got there for load in and sound check, and he actually kind of scared me at first because he wanted to party, and he partied with stuff that I had never touched before, so I was kind of, you know, taken back by him, but we became really good friends. I can remember from that show when we first got on stage and we played, because it was our first time up there, so we were being checked out. But also James Hetfield and Cliff Burton came to the show. We had known James from when Metallica started out in LA, and that's where they started at, was Los Angeles. So we knew them very well. James came to quite a few of our shows when we first started playing in the Bay Area. He was always supportive. I can't thank James Hetfield enough for that. Like, this is the old James that I knew. He's different now, and that's fine. But when I knew him, he cared about us. He would make time to come see us. So we're playing, and in the front row that night at Ruthie's Inn, 1985, I look in the front row because they're checking us out. It is Gary Holt, Andy Airborne, Toby Rage, James Hetfield, and Cliff Burton, all watching us at the same time. Talk about intense.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of, and I even back then had a lot of respect for these guys, so it was a hell of a way to be, you know, baptized by fire in the Bay Area, you know. So, yeah, and I have a lot of great memories. The San Francisco Bay Area to this day still means a lot to me. I don't even know what else to say, but it's part of my history because I've been going there since 1984. Maybe, yeah, 84, because I even went up there to see shows before I was even playing there. One of my earlier shows that I went to that we weren't playing was actually Slayer. They had no, it wasn't. It was actually the reason I'm thinking of Slayer. It wasn't. It was actually Megadeth with Kerry King playing second guitar with Megadeth. So that's like I've got a history in going to San Francisco. I'll always love that city, and I'll still go back to this day.
They're asking.
All right, no. What are the questions? I'll take
what
them.
were your thoughts on the DNA Lounge up there with Nefarious in San Francisco?
I'm always going to be an open book. Sometimes you gotta, life is crazy. So to Nefarious, playing with them at the DNA Lounge was a lot of feelings, a lot of mixed emotions. Like I said, I love San Francisco. The DNA Lounge was the last place that I went to for Paul Bailoff's wake was there. So I don't think I was the only one probably thinking that way. I'm sure maybe even Rick Hinault and Gary Holt, who came to the show, might have been, thinking of that stuff too. So I had a lot of shit on my mind that night we played there, but it was a great show.
Yeah.
The band is great. I have respect for all those guys, especially as musicians.
Yeah.
They're some of the top tier guys in the game, and I love them. We're like complicated brothers. That show was awesome, and the material, I feel very strong about that record. The only thing that kind of for me is tough is that the CD tracks are different than the album. The vinyl version doesn't have all the tracks, even though I'm sure it sounds great, because that's one of the reasons there's not all the tracks from the CD. So that the vinyl has even better sound production. But one of my favorite songs, which is on the CD, which is called Snarler, is not on the vinyl version. So that's the only thing I could say about that. But it's a great record.
Did we mention it was Nefarious? I forgot.
Yeah. We're talking. I don't know if you guys know that, but we're talking about Nefarious, which is another band that I am involved in and did a record with, and I'm very proud of that record. So yeah, we're talking about Nefarious. The DNA Lounge was awesome. A lot of people came out to that show. I can't thank you enough for coming out to the show. Any other?
There must be another one we don't know, so we'll see when. But do you remember the last show you went to at the Long Beach Arena?
Last show I went to a lot of shows at the Long Beach Arena because that's my backyard. I mean, it's not too far from where I live. So, and I didn't always go in. I used to go to shows just to drink in the parking lot. I don't know if you kids do that nowadays. Sometimes we wouldn't go into the shows. We would just hang out and drink in the parking lot with all the other crazy headbangers. But the last show I went to with my wife was actually Slayer. They were playing there. And the last person I saw out in front of the venue as the show was starting was Brian Slagle. So, yeah, it's everything for me is like full circle. Heavy metal, it's a family to me. It's a complicated family, but it's a family that I love very much.
I just wanted to not run out of time for some of the things you wanted to do, but
I'll take more questions. That's always the most
how about
important.
Ex-Hoarder?
Ex-Hoarder, somebody asking about
Yeah,
Ex-Hoarder?
they saw them 2 weeks ago. Like, what do you think? They think they were awesome, or any new bands? Any bands?
Yeah, we went on the road with Ex-Hoarder. We did quite a few shows with them. It was a pretty cool tour. A lot of hard work. When you're doing some of those tours, it's everybody doesn't see the hard stuff that's going on behind the scenes. So we did a lot of driving through Europe. We had 2 different trailers with a lot of equipment. So we had to juggle all that. We went to England, so we had to get on a ferry with our mobile homes. All right, so we had to go through customs. It's a little bit of Spinal Tap. It gets funny because you have to go through customs, and you've been riding through the night like 9 hours, and when you get to England, they make you get your ass out of the mobile home. Doesn't matter what time of the morning it is, and nobody's ready for that. So you've got all these heavy metal dudes and women, including my wife, getting out of the mobile home looking like Satan and being checked by the border patrol. So yeah, it's like I said, it's a lot of hard work. So that tour with Exhumer was hard work, but a lot of fun. We played some festivals for the first time, like Motor Culture. We did Vakken. All great festivals. So, and out of the newer bands, I don't know. I mean, I don't really super keep up on stuff because I'm still old school, and I love old rock stuff too. Because I'll be honest with you, when I collect records, a lot of it's old 70s stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, I listen to a lot of newer stuff too, but I like a lot of old 70s stuff. But on the newer bands, I wouldn't say they're super new, but a couple of the bands that I like Gamma Bomb from Ireland, and I do love the boys from Violator out of Brazil. So if you're going to check out some newer bands, even though they're not super new, they're newer for me because I'm old school as fuck. So I would say Violator from Brazil and check out Gamma Bomb from Ireland. What else we got?
Oh, someone's asking if we're stopping in New Mexico. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I would think.
We're not, but
I don't know if we are. I know we're doing Arizona. I don't know if that's on. Is that on the tour?
No. I guess they're loving the Paul Bailoff stories. Did you have any about Heathen or Piranha?
Well, when Paul was out of Exodus, he did Piranha for a while, and a lot of stories about Paul, but I just love the fucking guy. I mean, it's really kind of hard to talk about him because he should still be here.
Yeah.
And he was a fucking force. That's what I can say about Paul. Like, there's a handful of singers that I will say were great, and Paul's one of them. That motherfucker was great.
Yeah.
That's really all you need to know. I mean, yeah, check out the footage, any footage you can see of him. I would highly suggest the early days, so like 1985, Pure Fire, the whole band they were scary. They were so good, they were fucking scary. Early Exodus, that's all I gotta say, man. So, but love that band. I mean, they were one of the first bands that actually were really cool to us, too. So that's why I still have a lot of respect for Exodus. Gary's always been the salt of the earth. Really good dude. He's looked out for us, too. So Exodus will always be one of those bands that I love and respect.
Okay. A lot of people are chiming in where they're going to come see you, and they're excited about the Dark Angel Sacred Right Violence HIRAX tour. Is a banger tour, it says.
Yeah, it's a bonus.
Some of the places we've never been.
Yeah.
Some we're coming to again, and it's been years for some.
Yeah, it's a bonus to even be doing this tour because of the bands that are involved. For one, we love Sacred Right. Those guys I met back in, I think, 86 or 87 while touring through Arizona. They were actually managed by Gloria, who's now married to Max from Sepultura, or not Soulfly. So I knew them so many years ago, and Sacred Right were cool, man. They showed up, them and a couple of the band members from Flotsam and Jetsam, when we arrived to Arizona. So we've always had a good relationship with both of those bands. And as to Dark Angel, they're basically our brother band because we came out of the same areas. Cerritos, Bellflower, Norwalk, Downey, Buena Park, Anaheim, Long Beach. We all came out of like the same area. We played a lot of our earliest shows with Dark Angel. So I can guarantee you this tour is going to be awesome. I mean, people don't realize us and Dark Angel have a history. I've known Gene before he was really playing drums. Jim Durkin, that's a little bittersweet for me. I wish he was going to be on a part of this tour.
Yeah.
So I'll be thinking of Jim probably every night that we hit the stage. But we've got a great history with them. And I'll tell you, back in the 80s when Dark Angel and HIRAX would play together, it would be packed. The walls would be sweating blood. The shows were incredible. Some of our earliest shows, people like Chuck Schuldiner were there, like hanging out in the front row. I remember one time Chuck flew out from Florida just to come see HIRAX and Dark Angel play together. So these shows are going to be fucking awesome. So I'll take some more questions. We're about
Can't wait.
Yeah, we're about to 10 minutes.
You have the posters too.
Oh, oh yeah, okay. So when I travel, like when I was doing the rehearsals and the recordings for the Nefarious record, we would go up to San Francisco. I give me and my wife a lot of credit. We drove up there and got stuff done.
Every month for like almost a year.
For almost a year, we drove up to San Francisco and recorded tracks for the Nefarious record. But every time we would come back, we found this gas station right by Magic Mountain. And we would stop there at first just to, gas up because we were almost home, but we were almost out of gas. And we would gas up and use the restroom. That's what you do on those road trips. And one day we were in there, and my wife said, they have posters. And I'm all, what? My wife knows I'm a freak for that kind of shit. So, I went over, and one of the first posters I found was this Ramones poster that's behind me. Some of you can see it, some of you can't. But so, and they were $10. So I'm like, posters for $10? What? So every time we would stop at that gas station, I would go back in and look for posters. And found this Ninja Turtle poster because I love Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, you do.
So I would always, every stop, I would stop there to check out posters. And then we went back again. Every time we would be coming back from San Francisco, we would stop at this gas station.
You had to get it. That was right after Seattle.
Yeah, I think that was after Seattle.
Yeah.
But and this year has been just phenomenal. Anyways, even besides this tour that we have coming up, we did Hell's Heroes, we did Maryland Death Fest, we did Seattle Northwest Terror Fest. We did New York, Berkeley, and it's been in the span of a year, maybe a little bit more. Exodus invited us to do the Bonded by Blood show in Anaheim at the House of Blues. So it's been an awesome year. And I can't complain. And like I said, there's more coming. We'll be announcing more dates. One more poster.
They love that Hendrix one.
Right on, yeah. When I saw the Hendrix poster, let me show it to you one more time.
It's amazing and awesome. Christopher and G-Bates. Yeah. Nice.
I just had to pick it up because he's seriously he's probably, besides the Rolling Stones, Hendrix is probably my first hero. I mean, obviously growing up when I was really little, Elvis Presley, James Brown, Chuck Berry, Jerry Lee Lewis, people like that I went crazy for. Little Richard. And then this was the most recent poster that I picked up on the way back. When we
need more walls, Tim. Yes, you're right, Tim.
But on the last trip, I need way more walls.
He needs more walls too.
I'm like a dreamer though. Like most people that are collectors, what they'll tell you is, this is for when I get a bigger house, or this is for when I get a bigger place.
You can decorate outside.
It's like a 5 pound bag with 20 pounds of shit in it. So listen, I'm almost out of time. I want to take some
black light posters and carnivals in the early '80s. Ron Thanatos.
That's awesome.
Bad Brains Rule.
Yeah.
I just want to say some friends from Tijuana are coming to the San Diego show. That's
awesome.
Cool.
Tijuana, we love you guys. I'm glad you're coming to the San Diego show. That's next Saturday. The tour starts in San Diego at the House of Blues.
Yeah.
Oh, it's next Friday?
Yeah. You just get in the van and
I'm
go,
totally
buddy,
stupid.
worry.
Listen, my wife said just get in the van and go. So the tour starts next Friday?
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm an idiot. All right, so next Friday we start in San Diego at the House of Blues. So hopefully you people who watch this get to the end and realize I was wrong. It's not Saturday. It's next Friday. We start in San Diego, House of Blues.
It's going to be in Harrisburg. There's people from Pittsburgh. And Wilfredo's going to San Antonio.
Nice.
And,
Texas.
There's going to be lots of our friends all over, so that'll be great. We want to hear all the stories. Come talk to us.
I think that's about it. I mean,
the banners,
I don't even know enough. I don't know if I have enough time. All right, I'll do this real quick. See, I've got banners that I've also, it's like I said, a 5 pound bag with 20 pounds of shit in it. This was sent to me by a band from Canada called Slaughter. They're easily one of my favorite thrash metal bands. Like, I need more wall space. But anyways, so I have a lot of banners.
Thomas, Panero's.
Yeah, next time. Hey, Thomas.
Yeah.
Panero! What's up, brother? Love you, man.
Love you.
Next time I do a live stream, and it's been a little while just because I don't do them as much as I used to during the pandemic. But next time I do the next live stream, I'll pull out more banners. There's a lot of stuff. I can't always get to it because also I get to answering questions, and I really enjoy answering all you guys' questions as much as I can.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you for the support. Also, to the people looking for HIRAX merchandise, even when we're not on tour, just go to HIRAX Big Cartel or HIRAX Bandcamp and you can find merchandise there. Keep in mind, prices have gone up because of typical shit that's going on in this world. There's nothing we can do about that. Just bear with us.
You mean since the 80s?
Yeah, we're trying to do our best. We love all you guys. You can be metal and say that. We love all you guys.
Yes.
Please keep in touch. Say hello. When we're at the shows, don't hesitate. Don't hesitate to come up and say hi to us at the merch booth. We'll be there. No VIPs, none of that shit. Regular for everybody.
Yeah.
We're people, you're people. Let's get together, hang out, and talk some metal. So I got a few more minutes. Any other quick questions?
Listen, we're a happy family.
Ramones, we're a happy family. So what else we got? I'll take another couple of questions.
Well, because you said bye, people are saying bye. But
all right.
Come to Salt Lake City. And
Salt Lake City.
See you. Safe travels. Oh, 70,000 tons. We didn't even say that.
Oh, shit. Real quick. We're forgetting something. Also, we'll be playing 70,000 tons of metal out of Florida, I believe, is where we're sailing.
Yeah.
We're going to be on a ship. We never do ship shows, but we're finally doing a ship show. So that's another date for next year. So there's 3 things already booked. That's the one we can't announce. 70,000 tons of metal.
Yeah,
70,000 tons of metal. We'll be there. We don't normally do ships because we like to stay on steady land. But we'll be there, and I think we're doing 2 shows, 1 indoor, 1 outdoor. We love you guys. Thanks for the support. HIRAX, we'll see you very fucking soon. Yee! Stay metal!
Yeah. Love you guys. Well, I gotta stop it.